Hello there, Dan the Weatherman here. Hey, welcome to my weather show. This is the New Zealand edition. We've got a lot of weather coming our way over the course of the week, like last week as well. This is about half time. There's lots to come. Just looking at the big swirl, you can see closing in on us. There are some pretty active weather systems to slide in. First one here, this line of yellow, the higher, colder cloud tops on the infrared. This thing looks churned up and mean and nasty. That's some pretty unstable air coming out of the Southern Ocean, but there's stuff going on. We've been talking about La Nina, but the big thing that is going on is the polar vortex. It's just like this brewing. It's like almost like a jack in the box. You wound it up, you spun it around, and then it's just getting ready to go boom. And that's what it's going to do this week with some much colder air. We go back to the regime of weather systems with wind and some rain. This is the zone of strong to even severe gales as we run through the course of the week. First system there on Monday, second one Tuesday into Wednesday. Where you see red, where you see purple, those are severe gales for the first one. Another one comes through Wednesday into Thursday. See how the flow goes a bit more westerly. And by the end of the week, we're getting into more of a west to southwest flow. And by the next weekend, look at that flow there, just to the south of the country, coming straight down from literally the ice shelf Antarctica. The polar vortex, as I mentioned, it's like that jack in the box that's really ready to sort of whir like that. This thing grows because of complete darkness on the poles. Of course, it's our turn in the southern hemisphere. Australia there, South America, it's getting bigger, that's the height. And as it does, every so often you just get these little lobes that stick out and they bend. And as they do, they meet the warmer air. When you get warm and cold, this little surge right here coming around, that creates wind, that creates weather. And as that bends around like the octopus, the mad octopus, flailing an arm, you get some pretty intense weather. And in our case, it'll be a wintry outbreak, perhaps next weekend. Starting off through the week, quiet weather with the red, with the ridge. The blue is upper energy in a trough. That one comes through. Then there's another one. And by the end of the week, you see this whole thing churning through, dragging the cold, unstable air, making it showery, thundery, windy, and then eventually colder. Monday. First little system here. So it is going to be a wet end to the long weekend. Not everywhere though. As the energy on this thing spreads apart, you notice the far south of the South Island stays dry. Dunedin, Queenstown, Invercargill, you're okay. Spells of rain with that thing there. Auckland to the Bay of Plenty. More stuff brewing. Go into Tuesday. Boom. That works in. And it cranks up the wind too with the west nor'wester. So this is pretty mild. Most seeing temperatures from 12, 13 to perhaps 19, still maybe 20 further north. That's the leading edge of the colder air. The blue line is about 1,000 meters for a snow level. That's Tuesday. Watch Wednesday. That churns through. So another front comes through. And then we get all these blustery, squally showers coming into the west coast of the South Island. Crank up that wind. And then this is another zone like we saw. Remember that little zone of little lumpy stuff? That we're working in the upper low. The thing slides through on Thursday and get ourselves towards the end of the week. Check this out. Whoa, cold. That will churn through as the low deepens, and the position may change obviously in the next few days, but it certainly looks like we'll get into a cold zone with a pretty good southerly setting up towards the country. Could drop the snow to some pretty low levels. Perhaps by the end of, say, next weekend. We will see how it goes because one position change, and it can vary between computer models. They're looking at just one snapshot at one moment. Certainly, however you want to slice it, keeping a heads up for next weekend with a colder surge, particularly down south. Rain into the west coast, 1 to 200 millimeters. Not as much towards eastern areas because the flow hits something first. It hits the mountains to the west, so you don't get as much further west. But overall, in a nutshell, rain, wind, and maybe some snow by the end of the week. That's the weather for now.